I've been heavy on my grind, putting value on my time.
Hey guys, welcome back to Mone's Curvy Closet podcast and the YouTube version. How are you guys doing today? Today is a very special day because today is my son's birthday, which is October 14th, and my son is 17. I cannot believe I have a 17-year-old. Like, nothing humbles you more than to realize how old your children are. I was literally thinking to myself, like, girl, you have a 17-year-old. So that means that you're getting up there. Okay? Like, you're getting up there. So yes, if you guys could just wish him some happy birthdays in the comments. And you're more than welcome, if you can, to donate to his Cash App, okay, so he can stay out of my pockets. Yeah, if you can, feel free. If not, that is totally fine. But yeah, we are actually gonna go out to, I'm gonna take him out to dinner. Usually I do like this extravagant type of experience for his birthdays. If you guys watch my vlogs channel, then you will see usually I'm just doing something surprising him with all kind of stuff. But this year, is a little bit different only because, your girl ain't really got it like that financially. But I still have some tricks maybe up my sleeve. It just may come a little bit later in the year. I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna go all out for his 18th birthday. And yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet for his birthday this year, or if I'm gonna do anything besides take him out to dinner. And he said he really doesn't want anything too much. He said I'm getting older, so yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool with me too. You ain't expecting nothing. I don't really have to give a lot. I asked him if he wanted a birthday cake. He said, Mom, I don't want to eat cake like that. I'm like, okay, all right, well, I don't know if it's a boy thing. I don't know if they're like a little bit more chill as they get older. I don't know. But he said no. He said he's fine. Of course, money is always a thing. So if he cool with it, I'm cool with it. He wants to be chill. I can absolutely be chill because your mom ain't got it right now. So, um, but yeah, I just can't believe my son is 17, and then I have my little one. So I was almost done. I was almost, and that's another thing. When you have children so far apart, it makes you realize like you was almost done. You was now you. It's gonna take a long time before you get both of them. Literally, I am going to be 50. I want to say 50 or 51 when my daughter turns 18. Just put that in perspective. I'm only 38. Just put that into perspective, okay? Because I'm putting it into perspective and I'm just so overwhelmed. So that's what happens when you have children so far apart. But anyway, so outside of that, guys, I wanted to do like this whole like questionnaire thing that I found on Chat GPT because I think I told you guys in my last podcast, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about myself. And I thought this questionnaire and what I found on Chat GPT was really good. It has some really good questions, and it definitely gives you the opportunity to talk about something on your podcast if you don't really know what to talk about. So if you are starting your own podcast, or not just a podcast, but like videos, as far as if you make content or whatever on social media, and you don't know what to really talk about, you don't know what kind of topics to talk about, Chat GPT is a good tool. I'm sure you guys have heard about this tool. This is not a sponsored video or portion or anything like that. I just thought this was a really good tool for me to use because I wanted to talk more on my podcast, and I really didn't know what to talk about. I don't have a big following yet for people to chime in and send me emails or send me messages in my inbox to talk about certain things yet. So I'm like, well, how can I just keep a conversation going on my podcast until it, starts to get some traction. So I looked on Chat GPT. That's a tongue twister a little bit. And it had this questionnaire about just like conversational things. And so I wanted to go over that with you guys, or just kind of, go through the questions and kind of get to let you know me a little bit, in case I have new followers, in case people don't really know me or haven't really talked about certain things. I thought this would be a great way to do that. I think this is about 20 something questions. So I'm actually going to do a part one, part two, just to keep the things going and flowing. But church announcements before I get into that, make sure you guys always check out my website, monescurvyclosetllc, if you like these glasses. Um, Remember, I have my pink ones on. Now I have red, so I do have multiple colors. If you're very stylish like me, and I also have some other goodies on there, my ebooks, and all that good stuff. So check out my website, monescurvycloset.com. I really, really do appreciate you guys' support on there. And yeah, let's get to the questions. Okay, so the first question is, who am I and what inspired me to start this podcast? First of all, I am a woman from Chicago. Well, I was born in Chicago, but I was primarily raised outside of Chicago, Illinois. And I'm a very headstrong, yet I could be quirky, funny. I wouldn't say wild, but I can definitely have a goofy side. But I am always on my A game as much as possible. I do take myself to be a serious person. I am 38 years old and I have two children, as I've said before. And I started my podcast because I feel like I have a voice. I feel like I have some strong opinions. I feel like I can be a person that could see both sides. There are moments where I'm very headstrong about things, about a topic, especially if it's something within my personal life or things I've personally experienced. But I feel like I can be someone who is not who doesn't judge too much, and I'm able to look not beneath. What's the best phrase? I'm able to look deeper into someone without judging. I always use this scenario. When you see a woman or a little girl who's very promiscuous, a little girl who is very much out there, she's using her body for certain things, not really behaving like a young lady. Some people look at her as a hoe, some people look at her as a slut, some people just write her off and just kind of throw her to the wayside, right? And I'm a person that's like, okay, what's going on? What's the deeper issue? Why are we doing this? Or do we have daddy issues? Were we abandoned as a child? So I kind of use that scenario to show that I'm a person, I'm willing to look beyond what's on the surface, if that makes sense. And I'm not so quick to always judge. I'm very curious about people and their upbringing, and what's gone on and what makes a person the way that they are. So I feel like I have a voice and I feel like I have things to say, and I feel like um, there's a lot of people that can relate to me in my personal life. There's a lot of people that can relate to me in my professional life. I'm not a person on social media who is just trying to throw nice, shiny things in your face. I want to be real. I want to be honest. And I want people to understand that you are not the only one that's going through what you're going through. And I don't want you to feel alone. And I don't want you to feel like you don't have the opportunity to get out of that. I think so many people can relate to other people when they see the real. And I want to be one of those real people. So that's why I started my podcast. And I hope people could understand that and relate and want to, continue on the ride with me and maybe see some things that they may find familiar and find comfort in on this podcast. So that's why I started my podcast. What's a defining moment in my life that shaped who I am today? I think my most defining moment is when I had children. Before I had children, I was just going to move off to Tennessee with a friend of mine, and I was just going to, I don't know, figure life out. At that time, I didn't finish college. I had got into it with my mom. I had moved out. This was like maybe 18, 19. Maybe 20. No, I want to say 19, 19, 20. I had moved out, got into it with my mom. I had moved out. And I was just going with the flow. I didn't have any direction. I didn't know what I was going to do. But then when I started to have my son, I was like, okay, you have to do something. You have to do something. You have to have a plan. You have to be about something. You have this little one. I did not want to finish my education. I hated school. My mother always told me I hated school ever since I was 3. I did not want to go back to college, but I knew that for me, and this is no shade to anyone, but for me, an associate's degree was not going to cut it. I needed more. I wanted more for the sake of my kid. So that was the most defining moment in my life, becoming a mother, because it pushed me to want more, to do more. Even if I didn't want to, I had to. What's one thing most people don't know about you? Ooh. Um, One thing most people don't know about me? I don't know. I mean, this is not like a big secret or it's not like a ooh girl juicy type of thing, but I like to pop pimples. I think a lot of people don't like to do that. I think a lot of people like to do that. I think that's like not a secret, but that's like a not a secret, but I just think that's a lot of people like to do that. Like I watch the popping pimple videos, all of that. I love it. I don't know what it is. It's just so satisfying. I like to pop other people's pimples. Um, I don't know. I like it. It may sound weird, but I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. What's something else that's people don't know about me? That's what I can think of. I don't know. I like pop pimples. I don't know. What was my childhood dream and how has it changed over time? My childhood dream was to be a singer. My childhood dream was to be a singer. I remember in 3rd grade, we had a performance in my elementary school. Me, my cousin, I think somebody else. We sang Destiny's Child. I remember this like yesterday. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a singer. I mean, I guess what some people don't know, uh, I guess, yeah, I guess this can be one too. I do like to sing. Um, I'm not a singer per se, but I'd like to say I can bust a nice little note, if you will. I was in choir all 4 years of my high school. I was soprano. We even traveled to. I always get this mixed up. It's either Universal Studios or Orlando Studios. I don't know. One is in Florida and one is somewhere else, I think. And I think we went to the one in Florida and one is in California, but I think we went to Florida. So whichever one's in Florida, we actually went to perform. My senior year, I was in show choir, so we sang and danced, and we did a Michael Jackson medley. Um, but yeah, I'd like to say I can bust a little note, sing a nice little song. The boys I used to date, they really liked my voice. That was one thing that drew them is that I could sing. So I guess that's something people don't really know. I don't know. I joke around, sometimes here and there with my voice, but I'm not a singer. But your girl she can blow a little bit. I don't know. But what was I saying? Oh, I wanted to be a singer. And I guess of course, over the years it's not a dream of mine now, but and I guess I actually fulfilled this already. I wanted to know what it was like to be in the studio. Well, I guess I haven't fulfilled this part. Okay, so my old best friend, my old guy best friend, he's a rapper, and he wanted me on one of his songs, and I wasn't singing. It was like a word piece, but I got to like put the headphones on. I got to be behind the mic, all that good stuff. But now, as an adult and as I'm older, it would be nice if I'm able to just record one song. Not like, play it on the radio, get it, I'm gonna say published like it's a book. Um, Not any of that, but it would just be nice to like really full out be able to record a song with a producer and just have it for myself to say I recorded a song. That would be cool. Um, so if I'm able to in my life to do that, I would like to accomplish that. That would be cool. Because I really want to see how my voice sounds in a studio full force And I even thought about taking singing lessons, like just because, not to, be a star or nothing, but because again, I do like to sing. I would like to tone up or tune up my sound a little bit and just take some lessons here and there. So yeah, I would like to do that. What's been my biggest challenge and how did I overcome it? Um, my biggest challenge was stepping away from my daughter's father. And it wasn't a challenge that I did. It was a challenge that God forced me to do. I do believe that if you can't do something on your own, when God gives you the opportunity to do so, if you can't do it on your own, He will make you. And it's going to be way worse. It's going to be more dramatic. It's going to hurt more. And that was the exact case with my daughter's father. Um, he forced me away. God forced me away from him. He was not someone I was supposed to be around. He was not someone I don't want to say I wasn't supposed to interact with, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have my daughter. But he definitely was not someone that I needed to keep and continue having conversations with, having any type of dealings with. Um, it was very hard, very, very hard. And just realizing everything after all of that, all of the things just started opening, all of the truth and everything just started to really come out. Who he was, the type of person he was, how I was in that situation, realizing who I was, and the role I played in that situation, how naive I was, all of that. So that was one of the biggest challenges, um, and overcoming it still hurts a little bit, and but I think it hurts because I have a daughter, with him, so that's always going to sting. I've definitely gotten way, better in the emotions of that situation, but there's always going to be some kind of hurt because we have a daughter, and he is not a part of her life at all. So that was my biggest challenge, because that took me out, that took me down. So, yeah. What drives me to do what I do? My kids. My kids drive me to be somebody. I think even if I didn't have kids, I've always had the attitude of succeeding in life. I've always worked. I've worked since I was 16. I've never asked for a handout. I'm not the girl to just be a bum. I'm not the girl to just do nothing. So I've always wanted something. I've always wanted to be successful in some kind of way, but having children will really push you to do more. Having children will really, really push you to be creative. Um, and so just the thought, my ultimate goal is to be able to provide for my children freely without any worries. And to be able to see them grow. My son is 17, so it's not, I don't want to say it's not much growing, but as far as him being young and things like that, he's older. But I still want to give those opportunities to my daughter. I want to be there for her as far as schooling and teaching her, and what I mean when I say that is being able to be at home and do homework with her and sit down and teach her, not always be on the go because I'm working, not always be on the go because I'm doing a side job, not always be focused on something else because I'm trying to make sure I'm making money over here. I want to be present, and I want to be able to take them different places and really have her experience life as a kid. I don't think I gave a lot of that to my son because I'm a single mom. I was always working, I was always worrying, and still to this day I am. And I hope that am not, I hope that I don't carry those same traits and those same experiences onto her, where I'm just always so busy. I am now, but I want to stop, right? Because she does, complain about, mom, you don't spend any time with me, and mom, we don't do this and things like that, and it really hurts my heart because I want her to have that one-on-one time with me. And so I just hope that at some point in my life, God gives me the opportunity to stop, gives me the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom, to where I can be a full-time content creator and not have to worry about a job as far as a 9 to 5 job, not have to worry about doing these side jobs like DoorDash and stuff like that. And that I'm able to make my own schedule, make my own money, and that doesn't take away from me raising my child and being there for her every step of the way. I thank God that my son doesn't resent me in any kind of way because I couldn't give him a lot of experiences. I have asked him, I talked to him a lot and I asked him a lot of questions to the point where he's so annoyed, like, Mom, we already talked about this. But I'm glad that he doesn't resent me and he thinks that, I am the best mom, and he sees my hustle and he sees that I get him, mostly everything that he asks for. He see how hard I go to get it. He see the lengths that I go to get the things that he needs and that he wants. And so I'm very grateful that my son understands. Very, very grateful that he understands why his mama does the things that she does. And I hope I hope I can grow out of this where my daughter don't have to understand that she can experience mom being there. Anyway, I know I went kind of left on that one, but yeah. What topics or causes light me up the most? I don't light me up and like make me happy. Um, or light me up like, oh, that lit me on fire. I don't know. What topics or causes? I don't know. I'm gonna take that as like what like makes me like excited. Seeing single moms thrive. Seeing single moms beat the stereotype. That is so inspirational to me. Seeing plus size women living in happiness and living in success despite what is said about them, despite their experiences, because I'm a plus size woman, because I'm a single mom. Like those topics, those causes, those things really excites me because I see myself in them. I see myself in those experiences. Um, as a plus size woman, we go through a lot every single day with our appearance, and not us personally, but how the world perceives us. We go through a lot with, dating and the work field, and you just won't believe how plus size people are treated because they're just simply bigger. You don't get paid attention to a lot. You're more so you're dehumanized because you're big. Um, when it comes to dating, some men, not all, but some men don't even take you serious as a wife or a girlfriend. um, they just look at you as a fetish or a play toy, or she's insecure, or they want to just use you. They think, all plus size women are so desperate, so they spend all this money on you and pay for a boyfriend and pay for attention. Like, it's just crazy. And so I love to see plus size women who have the attitude of, just because I'm big don't mean you finna run over me. Just because I'm big don't mean you get to talk to me or treat me any kind of way. I love to see a plus size woman put her foot down and demand and command her respect. I love to see it. Um, I love to see single moms overcome the stereotypes of, being broke and struggling and wanting their baby dads. And I just love seeing those stereotypes be broken. Um, because that's not everybody's story. Unfortunately, some of those stories are mine. And I'm not ashamed to, admit, because it's real life. But I will come out of that. That's not going to be my story forever. Um, that's not going to be my story forever. So but I just commend women who do the damn thing. Seriously. Next question. How did I discover my passion, or am I still figuring it out? Um, okay, so make a long story short, and it's actually a video, or if you guys are watching the YouTube version, There is a video, maybe I should make another one, but there's a video from a couple years back where I talked about how I end up getting started with just plus size content and all that stuff, right? But to make a long story short, I actually started with a plus size. I had a plus size organization back in Chicago. It was called the House of Barbs, and so we were a plus size group that was all about positivity. We did community service in Chicago. At the time, we were in social clubs, so we went to the social club parties and all that stuff. And it was about 5 years, and it just didn't work out. I realized that I'm not a person who can lead other women. I'm not a person who, there's leaders and there's followers, and not in a negative way, but there are people who can lead others, and there are people who are just followers, and there are people who just work on their own. And I realize I am a loner, if you will. And what that means is I'm a person who I don't like to tell other people what to do. And I'm a person who, if I see that you can't get those things done, I'm just going to do it myself. I don't want to bother you. I don't want to fuss with you. I'll just do it myself. Well, when you are in an organization, you are the CEO of an organization, you have to delegate responsibilities to other people and allow them to do them. And I couldn't do that. And then just women's personalities and getting along with certain women and not getting along. It didn't work out for me. I wasn't the best leader. I wasn't the best, person to be in charge, if you will. And I can admit to that. I wasn't the best. And so my lane was just being a one woman show. And when the pandemic happened, I started my YouTube, and I will never forget this date. April 17th, 2020 was when I uploaded my first video on my YouTube channel. Um, I started watching Sarah Ray Vargas. If you know me, then you know she is my idol when it comes down to this YouTube and content creating. She is a person that I look to for a lot. And I was like, I can do this. Like, what? I love fashion. I love plus size clothing. Well, as a plus size woman, I love clothing. I love to look cute. I love to take pictures. Like, why did I not discover the YouTube world and content creating long before the pandemic, right? And so it was the perfect time. We were at home. We weren't doing anything. We were not working. And so I just said, well, let me just try this. I figured out, when I tell you, which I'm very proud of myself for. When I tell you I figured out all of this on my own, there was no paying somebody else to edit my videos. There was no paying someone to set up, cameras and lighting, but there was no one to do any of that. I learned how to edit. I learned how to figure out the software I needed to use for my particular computer. I figured out what camera I needed to use. I figured out what lighting I needed to get. I figured out, and still to this day, and figuring out all of this. And I'm very happy and proud of myself for that, because that lets me know that I don't have to depend on anyone else to make my dreams happen. As long as I put in the legwork myself, not saying I don't need no help, not saying that I'm too independent, but there will be points in life where you have to do those things by yourself. And I never want to be that woman who has to operate on other people's help. I'm going to figure it out. Point blank, end the period. I'm going to figure it out. And so the pandemic was the perfect time. And so I started buying clothes, and I just started looking at what the girls did and how they made their videos and what they were talking about, who they were buying from. And I was okay, let's do this. And ever since then, I was like, okay, this is what makes me happy. When I dismantled my organization, I was like, what else can I do? How else can I be a part of the plus size community, still have a voice, but be a one woman show? And content creating was perfect for me. I really wish, and I say this to myself a lot, if I would have stuck with doing this, because when I had my organization, I did try to start a YouTube channel for us, but we didn't record any videos, but I set up everything as far as an account, and then I stopped. So I just never went with it. And that was, that was 2014, I think. If I would have kept on with this YouTube stuff back then, I absolutely feel like I would have been a well-known content creator by now. I really feel that way. If I would have just kept with it, I mean, because I was doing research about it, all of that, and I just stopped. So once I post my first video, I was like, this is it. This is what I need to be doing. It makes me happy. Working a 9 to 5 for somebody else does not make me happy at all. Working multiple different jobs, having to hear somebody else's mouth, about what you're not doing at work, and I like none of that makes me happy. When I have my organization, that made me happy. Being a plus size content creator, recording videos, all of that, it makes me so editing, even though it's a long process. Those things, anything that has to do with my content creating, it makes me so happy. And this is how I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I know it's oversaturated by now, but I don't care. I feel like this is what I need to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I think I can really bring something to the table regarding, all of this. So that is my passion, and I'm getting up there. I just need y'all views and support, but I'm gonna get up there. What does success mean to you right now? That word success, if you guys ever listen to me talk, you will hear me say success a lot because that is what I really do strive to be. And success for me is not just money. It really isn't. I mean, that's like up there, like maybe number two, one. But success is not just necessarily money. For me, success is peace, having peace in my life, not having to worry about, which I don't currently at all, and having for a very long time. I don't have baby daddy drama, right? That's very, I don't have, like, yeah, I don't deal with my daughter's father, but yeah, sometimes my son's father works my nerve. You hear what I'm saying? But I don't really talk to him, and my son is 17, so I don't really have to talk to him. But other than that, like peace, I'm not dating anybody, not having to worry about if a man is cheating on me, if he's lying to me, if he's gonna come home, where is like that is peace. Success for me is peace. Of course, financial freedom, not having to worry about how I'm gonna pay this or how I'm gonna pay that, right? Success to me is my mental, right? My mental being intact, not having to think about several different things in 1 minute, okay? Not having my mind just go like a carousel where it's just going around, 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 thinking about, I need to do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Just not having to worry about a lot of things. So, peace for me is not just money, but success is not just about money for me. It's about peace. It's about good mental health. It's about no drama, no confusion in my life, being able to just be happy, staying out of people's way. I don't be in nobody's business. I don't care too much about anybody's business. I may talk mess here and there, but at the end of the day, I don't care about what you got going on. I really don't. I don't give two shits. Excuse my language. I don't as long as you're good, you know what I'm saying? As long as you're safe, I don't care. That's your business because I don't want people in my business. I don't want people into my world. I don't want anyone in my backyard. So that to me, that is what peace is. Just mind yours, I'll mind mine. And I just want to live a nice, comfortable life. How do I stay motivated when things get tough? That is very hard for me to do because, baby, I have several breakdowns, probably more in a day. But I don't know how I stay motivated. I just, for me, a good cry a lot of times is what I need to do. And then once I cry it out, once I have a breakdown, once I get it all out, I just say, okay, forget it. Like it is what it is. And sometimes that's the motivation. I can't do nothing about it. I cried it out. I prayed to God. There's nothing I can do. And that's still frustrating, right? But for me, I'm a girl who has a plan A, B, C, and D. When all of my plans don't work, I cry it out and I just leave it on the table. And a lot of believers, they will say that's what you're supposed to do, just leave it out on the table for God to fix it. But it's hard for me to do that because I'm a person that, I have to be productive. I'm learning the lesson of just letting him fix it. Just put it out there, continue doing what you need to do, continue, getting up, going to work, even if you don't feel like it, even if you want to just quit today, you are tired, you don't feel like doing this, you don't want to hear another boss's name, you don't want to hear another complaint, you don't want to hear anything, you don't want to hear a patient, a customer, you want to quit and follow your dreams like nobody's business. Even when it comes down to that, because I'm like that every single day. Like I'm thinking, how can I quit today? It's not saying I'm not appreciative of my job. I very much am. But this is not what I want to do. I want to live my life. How can I quit today? But I can't. I got bills. Even though they don't pay enough for my bills, I gotta do what I gotta do, right? And start off somewhere. I just feel like, okay, I didn't cry it out. I didn't pray to God. There's nothing I can do. Whatever happens, whatever I have to go without, there's nothing I can do. And a lot of times, a lot of things end up coming through, aka the Lord, okay, end up coming through for me. But it's just that vulnerability where I had to say, forget it. Like I can't do nothing about this. And I'm just gonna have to take it on the chin, if you will, if I have to go without. So being motivated and staying motivated sometimes for me is just giving up and just saying, okay, I've done all I could. That's all I got. I don't know if you can consider that motivation, but I guess it's motivating for me because it allows me to say, okay, all right, move on to the next. I've tried that one. I can't do nothing else with it. I'm just gonna put that over here. Let me go on to the next. Maybe that's considered my motivation to not continue to dwell on it when I'm done with it. I've done what I could. Move on. What's a mistake that taught me something important? Um, Having children with the wrong people. I'm sorry, kids, if you're watching this. Yeah, I love my children dearly. I love my children dearly. But I will be lying if I said that I wish I would have made better decisions. And here's the thing. This is another reason why I wanted to start a podcast, because I really want a lot of us, including myself, to be a lot more honest with ourselves, and saying what you really feel. Saying what you really feel. We have to stop tiptoeing or walking on eggshells because it's going to make our family members, our kids, our mothers, our wives, brothers, whatever, whoever, it's going to make them feel some type of way. It's not about them. Your feelings is not about anybody else. We have to understand that. You are entitled to be truthful with yourself. If you are tired of being a mom, say that. I'll even say this, and listen, some may not agree with me about what I'm about to say, but it's the honest to God truth, and I bet a lot of y'all feel this way. If you hate being a mom, say that. It doesn't mean that you regret your children. It doesn't mean you hate your children. I love my kids. I love my children dearly. But I would be lying to myself if I said that I'm happy every single time with being a mother. Because I'm not always happy. It doesn't mean I regret my children. I don't regret my children, meaning I wish I had abortions. No, no, I didn't believe in doing that with either one of my children. I didn't believe in doing that. It was my responsibility. It is what it is. My children taught me how to be a better person and how to develop, and being a mother, to tap into my motherly instinct, if you will, and my mother bag, if you will, meaning because there's different parts of us, right? As humans, there's your mother's, your maternal side, your for fathers, is it parental? No, it's maternal, fraternal, right? Yeah. For men, dads. But there's different parts of us, right? There's a girlfriend side, there's a wife side, there's a teacher's. There's different parts that we can tap into based off our experience, right? And so my children allowed me to tap into my mother side, my maternal side. And so I love my children. I don't regret having my children. If it wasn't for my children, I really don't know where I would be. I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know if I would still have this need to be successful. Um, I mean, like I said earlier, in today, I mean, like I said earlier, right? I do think that there's always been a part of me that wanted to be someone, but to go so hard, I don't know if I would be the same way if I didn't have children. When you have children, most of the time, when you have children, that pushes you to go hard. So I don't know if I would have that same push, that same urge if I didn't have children. I would have the want and the need, but I don't know if I would have the urge to just go so hard, right? Um, like for instance, I had to complete my education. That was no question. But if I didn't have children, I don't know if I would have completed my bachelor's. I would have just stuck it out with a high school diploma. Probably. I don't know. I want us to be more honest with ourselves, and stop sugarcoating other people's feelings because it's not about them. But back to the question, what mistake? What's a mistake that taught me something important? I'm picking the wrong people. And I still kind of struggle with that saying because is it the wrong person? Was I meant to have a child with that person but just not keep the relationship, if that makes sense? I don't know. I think I learned this from Pastor John Hanna, where he said I think it was his father that wasn't a part of his life. And this was a old sermon that I heard. And I think, don't quote me, but I think there was some kind of issues going on with his father where he wasn't meant to be in his life. And he made a comment where sometimes parents are not supposed to be in your life because they couldn't teach you anything. If you have a drug addict mom or a drug addict dad, who, like, how are they going to teach you anything? How are they going to parent you if they're off on drugs, or if they're in the streets doing something bad? And that's often how I feel about my daughter's father. I don't think he is a positive person for her to be around. Um, And so his personal decisions of him not wanting to be in her life, even though that's hard, I think it's for the best. Because even today, especially with information I just found out, I don't think I would even trust him being around her. And so unfortunately, the things that we're supposed to have, the people we're supposed to have in our life, i.e., our parents at least, sometimes that parent shouldn't be in your life because they can't teach you anything good. Their actions probably can teach you something that you shouldn't want to do, right? You shouldn't want to turn out like them, you know. So I don't want to say, that they were the wrong people, but at the same time, just being honest, if I didn't go down that route and having children with them, I probably wouldn't be in these positions. So, but regardless, I love my children, and I wouldn't take them back for the world. I just wish I did things differently. I wish I can have the same children just in a different time of my life. But I love my kids. I don't regret anything that I did. I don't regret any choices that I made. We're going to end this here. I'm going to answer the rest of the questions on a part 2. But thank you guys so much for listening to my podcast and watching me on YouTube. Make sure you check out my YouTube channel, Mone's Curvy Closet, as well as my website, monescurvyclosetllc. And I appreciate you guys and I thank you. Bye!
I've been heavy on my grind, putting value on my time.